we've sent out multiple emails where there are links to accessing Whova. However, if you don't feel like digging down through your emails, because I know a lot of us have many emails in our inboxes, you can always go to the OHALAH conference website and scroll down. You'll be able to find the link to log in by clicking this login button right here, right next to where it says if you have already registered. Once you click this button, it'll take you to the Whova website where you can sign in with your email or password. If you do not have an account, you can click sign up here and set up your password. Remember to please use the email address that you also used to sign up, to register for the conference. So once I'm signed in, I'm here at the home page of the Whova platform. We have this beautiful image right here. We have some information right here. And I'm going to talk through these main navigation tabs here. So you'll be navigating throughout this entire platform using these buttons off to your left-hand side. So we'll start with the I'm going to click here. We're going to start with the most important tab, which is Agenda. So here in the agenda, I have the full agenda and my agenda. Please ignore this rehearsal sessions. That's just because I'm an admin. So the full agenda, you'll be able to see all the events. My agenda, I'll only see the events that I clicked to add to my agenda. So you'll see that there's buttons here to click to add to my agenda. So if you wanted to look ahead at all the sessions and see, oh, I definitely want to attend this session and this session, you can add these to your agenda. You can filter through the agenda by looking through the tracks. And so we have multiple tracks such as Davening, gender identities, chant, book talk. And you can scroll down and select the specific tracks that you want to look through. You could search by session name or even by speaker name, or you can search through date, which is honestly the easiest way to look through the entire agenda. So let's say I wanted to go to the Monday, January 11th, and I look at this as the first morning session. It seems to be at 7:30 a.m. This is in Eastern time. So the event time zone will always be in Eastern time. If you would like to switch the time zone to be your local time, there's a button right here called Switch to Local Time Zone. If I click that, switches to my Pacific time zone, 4:30 a.m. If I want to go back to the event time zone Pacific, I can just click up here, switch to event time zone. So let's say I wanted to attend this event and I'm looking through and I like all of these tracks. I can click View Session. And here I am in the session. So the first thing I want to point out here is this big, beautiful blue button called View Livestream. So you'll click this button to be able to attend the session. In this button, there is an embedded Zoom link, so it'll take you directly to the Zoom app, and that's where you'll be able to access the session, view the session, chat in the chat features, and it'll be exactly the same as a regular Zoom meeting. However, there are more things in the Whova app other than this simple, beautiful blue button. If you scroll down, you'll see that there's a speaker. You can view the speaker's profile, and in the speaker's profile, you can see what other events they're speaking at, their bio, their affiliation, their education, etc. You could also message your speaker if you want to meet up with them or discuss more things about the session with them. If you keep on scrolling down at the very bottom, you'll see that there is a session description. The very bottom of the session description, in italicized, it will state whether or not this session will or will not be recorded. So in this case, the session will be recorded, and after the session is live, we will take the recorded video and post it on the Whova platform. So instead of this button View Live Stream, it'll be replaced with View Recorded Session.
Hey, I don't know what to tell you. First of all, I sent the email. I didn't send the email. Oh, I didn't see that. I'm sorry.
You're not muted. You're not muted.
Going back, right above the session description, you'll see I have here an example handout link.com. And so this is where all the handout links will be. I know many speakers are asking me questions. We will post all the handout links right above the session description. And for even more seamless interaction, we will have one of the job descriptions of the moderators is to copy this link and to paste it multiple times in the chat, so that attendees who don't want to leave the Zoom app can look at the handout links. So that is, for the most part, the majority of what we offer in this specific screen in the session. However, I do want to draw your attention to these optional but also great features such as a Q&A in the chat and the polls. So For example, in this case, we have one question. Looks like someone asked a question, and you can look at that question. You can see that the speaker very graciously answered the question. And so attendees can look through the Q&A to ask questions regarding the session. If I go into the chat function, you'll see that we have attendees talking about how excited they are for the session. And so this is our way of trying to replicate a live event. You know, unfortunately, because of the pandemic, everything has to be online. And one of the downsides of that is this loss of community and this loss of one-on-one time with people to have conversations. So by having these Q&As, these chats in our community tab, we hope to try to replicate that in an online environment. Now, let's say you wanted to go back to your agenda. You can click this great button here. It's this little arrow. If you click it, you can go right back to your agenda and you can jump between sessions that you're interested in and go back and forth. And so that's how you navigate through the agenda. That is also how you view live streams. As I mentioned before, it's this big blue button and your handouts will be above the session description. So moving on to the next tab, we have attendees. And so you can search through attendees and see if your best friend is attending. If you scroll down here under speakers, you can click the speakers and look directly at what speakers are presenting. And as mentioned before, you can send a message and you can also view their profile here. The next tab I want to talk about is the community tab. So this community tab, this is where you'll find your announcements. You can ask organizers anything in the community tab. You can set up meetups or virtual meets. And so it looks like we already have 2 meetups. And so these meetups are separate from the sessions. These are kind of almost like club meetups. You can set up, if you have a topic that you want to discuss with people, you can set these up. And you can do that by clicking suggest a meet. Looks like we already have 2 meetups, one people interested in writing, and we have 6 attending, and another one is the COVID-19 vaccine information. We have 5 people attending that event. And there are multiple forums at the bottom of this, of the community tab, such as virtual shuck, which is where you can post items you're selling, article sharing, song sharing, etc. If you would like to add a topic or a forum page, you can do that by clicking add a topic or social group up here. And we will also have the virtual lobby in the community tab. However, right now, the virtual lobby hours are to be determined. And once we have those, we will send out a mass email explaining what the virtual lobby is and how you can access it.
Sophia,
So that is, yes.
Before you leave the meetups, if we post a meetup, where will the meetups meet? Like, do we post a link to our Zoom room, or what?
That's a great question. So with the meetups, you have 2 options. You could choose to have a Whova meetup, so it'll be all on the Whova platform. It'll look like an embedded Zoom meeting, or you can set up your own Zoom meeting link. So it'll give you either option. So you can insert your own Zoom meeting room link, and then people can access your Zoom meeting. We recommend you go through the Zoom meeting route, since that seems to have the most seamless interaction with the attendees.